Hey, everybody, it is Monday and welcome to Remixing Relationships. This is going to be a great show today. Welcome to Remixing Relationships, where we dive deep into the art of creating and sustaining healthy connections. I am your host, Kendall Anish, your fave life coach, a remix coach, and together we will explore fresh and perspective strategies to transform your relationship. Whether you're looking to strengthen, heal, or completely remix your love connections, you are in the right place. All right, so remixing relationships is all about promoting healthy relationships, right? Because if a relationship is not healthy, then what is it and what you doing in it? But of course, we have to bump our heads. We have to go through life. We have to go through experiences in order to garnish the knowledge and the wisdom, right? So it is purposeful. And in every mess, there is a message and there is a blessing. Everybody has a different story to tell when it comes to relationships. But what about when you find yourself in a relationship that is not working? It's no longer serving you, parts of it toxic, and you go through a horrible divorce, right? You got kids involved, you got life involved, you got feelings involved, all of that. So, what happens when you go through a divorce and then you find yourself single and then you start to date again in your 40s? What does that look like? A lot of people don't have the courage to love again, let alone marry again. Again, everybody has a story to tell, and my today is no different. She reached out to me. I'm grateful and I'm very gracious to her for trusting me with her story. This is a homegirl from Jersey. Shout out to Jersey. Jersey, where you at? South Jersey. And she said, I'm ready to tell my story. And the beautiful thing about it is her son said, I think it's time and you have a story to tell. So I have Tonja Williams with me today, and she's going to talk about her journey through love, right? She's a survivor of many things, and she's still here today. And wait till y'all see her. She is looking beautiful as ever. This is not something that she does on the regular basis. This is not something that this is something that she is starting to do, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate her using this platform to share her story with you, because when we share our story, we empower other people to share their story as well. So without further ado, well, let me tell you the title and then I'm going to introduce her. So the title of this episode is Remixing Heartbreak: The Courage to Marry Again. So we're going to be talking about heartbreak. We're going to talk about healing. We talk about finding love again and courage to marry again. But through all of that, there are lessons in everything. So without further ado, welcome Tonja Williams to Remixing Relationships.
Hello, Miss Kendall, the life remixing coach, the infamous and one and only, and everyone out in live land.
I appreciate you, girl. So let me tell you something. So I got to make sure if you haven't shared it out, definitely share it out. There are a lot of people that watch live, but there are a lot of people that watch the playback. So if you are watching live, please subscribe to this channel. I'm going to make sure I tag you as well so your people can watch it. But tell me, and I'm going to give you the floor for a moment and I'm going to disappear. Tell me why you decided to share your story. And why you
Okay.
decided to share it here?
Well, I trust you. Like you said, we've been friends for a very long time. My homegirl from South Jersey, and you're doing ultimate things. And I felt like that when I was processing things, and I felt like, okay, maybe I do have a story to tell. And what led me to feel that way was I was on social media one day, and my oldest son had made a song for me, and I was honored by the song, and it's called Mama. And I was trying to describe to my platform, what that song had meant to me. But in doing so, I wound up giving a little background of my life. And if it was a book, it would have been like, the preface of the book, kind of giving you an idea of what it was. And at that point, I got a lot of feedback, and I felt like I got free, in a sense, from just sharing. So I said, you know
Mm-hmm.
what? I wanted to, felt like maybe I need to find a platform, a podcast or something, just to kind of release and maybe help somebody else that's going through the same journey, or or somebody that needs to be encouraged, because life can
Yeah.
be hard, you know. So in doing so,
Yes.
out to somebody I knew that was going to make it happen, or go get her, such as yourself. And I'm honored,
Hey
and
now.
thank you for allowing me to come on your platform to do so.
100%. It was a no-brainer. And when I first saw her, I said, "Oh yeah, I just came back from the gym." But honey, she is sitting there in that silver, looking lovely, and I absolutely love her. I said she just started this show anyway. I'm just here to facilitate, right? But let's talk about the song for a minute. Tell
Okay.
us what the song with the title, with the name. Well, you said the name, but what is the song about? And why did your son say he decided to write that? Because what a beautiful honor that is.
Oh, definitely. The song is an awesome song, and in that song, I had left him a voicemail one day, just expressing how I felt about his journey. He's the oldest of five of my children, and
Mhm.
um, and at 33, he was at a place where he's on his new journey, and he wanted to just make the song. And I, through his journey, I had left him a voicemail one day, just letting him know I was proud of him, and I was just
Mhm.
encouraged by, you know, the journey he was taking. And then when I heard this song, he had added my voice to the song, and it immortalized me in this song. And that was really deep for me, because I felt like, whenever that day I'm no longer on this side of the dirt, my kids, my grandkids,
Mm.
had my voice. We have all lost significant people in
Wow.
our on our journey. And sometimes we often think back, oh my God,
Yeah.
what I would do to hear that voice again, you know? And he added my voice perfectly in this song, expressing how I felt about him. And in this song, he was just thanking me for, knowing that when he was doing his reflection of his age, he was reflecting on, like, wow, my mom at this age was making a journey, transitioning to, Georgia with 5 kids. And he just was like, I know it couldn't be easy.
Wow.
No. And he was just like, the
Wow.
and 5 different personalities, and they was 5 under 14. He was the oldest at 14.
Wow, you did that. And you
Yeah,
did that after divorce?
after divorce, yes. And it wasn't an easy task, by no means at all. But
I'm sure.
doing that process and going through the motions, you know,
Mhm.
um, being now on the other side, but going through the motions, you don't see the light at the
Yeah.
end of, and it is, trying times to have to be, the my ex-husband was, is, was and is an awesome dad. I would never take that away from him. We just
Mhm.
couldn't coexist,
Right.
husband and wife. So the demise of the marriage happened, but physically, us living in 2 different states, I didn't have the support, of
Yeah.
him. another co-parent or adult in the house to help me co-parent, which
Yeah.
is me 5. So as my son
Yeah.
stated, 5 with 5 different personalities and me, and I was living with an autoimmune condition, and that wasn't easy as either, and going through the process, I was depressed. I was
Mm-hmm.
I was really going through. It was a very difficult time for me. I was not only just dealing with the divorce aspect of the situation, but I was also dealing with having an autoimmune condition, and changes was physically happening to me. So as a woman, I was going through like, who would want me? Because I got sick when I was with my husband. That was my
Yeah.
purpose. That was, I mean, I didn't, he knew what it is and knew what it was. So me now navigating life with now having this
So
autoimmune.
you didn't have to explain.
Right.
You didn't have to explain. Mm-hmm.
Right. The difficulties of the things I was going through, worrying about if someone could love me for me. I had my person to do that, and now I'm in a space where I didn't have that. So now I'm dealing with low self-esteem situations because physically my autoimmune was changing things.
Mm-hmm.
I was dealing with depression because I was dealing with the demise of the family structure and feeling guilty because I felt like I just couldn't keep this together, and now my kids don't have their dad in the house, and I started because of that, feeling like, this the overwhelming feeling of guilt, and I spent a lot of time being stuck in my depression, where I was sleeping a lot, and I was present, but I was absent, and that's still a that I struggle with, because I was feeling during my process. I never left them. Mom has always been there, but your children have needs and they have desires. They are people too, and they can be affected by certain things because their minds is not mature at the time the process that was going on and what you're going through, because you the adult. You wrong. The first is they ain't asked to be here. I brought them here. So now I'm responsible for all of this, and I'm the mom, and I can't even say the dad, but I'm the mom, and I'm the only parent in the house. So I am the mom and the enemy when I have to, when time called for it. So that song was very much meaningful to me because he was letting me know that he see me. He saw
that part.
5, he recognized that journey couldn't have been easy for me.
Yes. Let me stop you for a second, because you said a lot, and I'm glad that you did, and I want people to understand. And we're going to talk, a little about your autoimmune disease so they can really understand and get the grasp of what you were going through. So Tonja is saying, so if you're just tuning in, welcome to Remixing Relationships. We're promoting healthy relationships over here. We all have a journey. We all have a story. And Tonja is sharing her story with us today. So she's my homegirl from Jersey. We known each other since we were children. And I'm glad that he is here. She said, we're talking about remixing heartbreak, right? And having the courage not only to love again, but to marry again. So we're carrying all of the baggage, the depression. We're dealing with, our decisions and if we made the right choice. And a lot of mothers struggle with this when they have children. Tonja said that She didn't know. She knew in her gut that this was something she had to do, but then she's breaking up a family. They don't have their father there. And, am I making the right decision? So she took the journey from New Jersey to Atlanta with 5 children
Well,
to start again. So I want to ask you, yep, I want to go ahead, say it again.
okay, I'm sorry to interrupt.
What'd you
I
say?
just get clarity. I apologize
No,
for
it's good.
interrupting. I get clarity. Actually, my husband at the time, we was married and we lived in New Jersey, and then we relocated to Las Vegas. So we were residents of.
Oh, and I lived in Vegas
I
too. We
know.
got so many South
Remember I
Jersey
told you.
people
And
in
I reached out to you.
Vegas. It's so many of us. I
Yes,
moved in Vegas. I moved to Vegas in 91.
yes. I moved to Vegas in 2005. 2005.
Wow. So you
So
left from Jersey to
yes,
Vegas
yes.
with
We
your spouse.
that is exactly how that happened. It was
Okay, so then you left Vegas to go to Atlanta.
there you go. Me and my 5 kids. Yes. So this was it was a
So
twice move.
let's talk. Got it. So let's talk about that, because there's somebody that listening now, or whether they're going to watch the playback. And again, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, because conversations like this happen. Remixing Relationships is every Monday, and the whole channel is about growth and healing, and really sharing our stories, because, as I said in the beginning, when we share our stories, we give other people permission to do the same. And it's not always easy. All right. So what was the catalyst? Because typically, being married myself multiple times, or divorced more than once, right? So what is the normally a relationship is over before it's over. Before you say, I'm leaving or I'm filing for divorce, what was that thing? And you can share as much as you want or as little as you want. What was that one breaking point where you said, what, this is no longer serving me, it's not working, I'm not only moving out of the house, but I'm moving to another city with my children? Like, what was that catalyst that you said, what, it's time?
Okay, well, let me be very, very transparent in my story, because just like you shared, I will also want to share, even though I'm speaking about my previous marriage that I had before I entered this one, I
Mm-hmm.
also have been married
Mm-hmm.
multiple times. And me at 50 years old,
Mm-hmm.
uh, as of today, um, I had been married twice. Um, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it, well, actually, once before this marriage I'm speaking of. So I want to share that as
Yeah.
a young woman. Um, First, I want to start out. I was a young mom. I had my son when I was 17
Mm-hmm.
years old, and in
Mm-hmm.
going through my journey, I had been with his father from the age of 14 to 18. And I had got pregnant
Mm-hmm.
at 16 and had my son at 17. And then when
Mm-hmm.
that relationship had ended, um, we had parted ways, and I wound up in another relationship at 18. And at 18,
Mm-hmm.
I got married. Well,
Mm-hmm.
actually, let me clear that out. I got married for the first time at 20 years old, to my second
Mm-hmm.
set of children.
I was
And
20 as well.
yes, and
Mm-hmm.
that marriage, I was in a relationship from 18 to 26. And so with that being said,
Mm-hmm.
um, I now had 3 kids, and now I had ended my first marriage, and now get ready to enter into my second marriage. And through this process, I want to say this to you.
Mm-hmm.
I was, these were rebound relationships. They went from one straight into the other.
Mm-hmm.
I realized on the healing end of
Mm-hmm.
things that I was everything that everybody else expected me to be. in these relationships. And I didn't know Tonja because I was just a baby, a young girl myself, navigating life. And I had these babies, and they had to be raised and loved. And I'm still trying to figure it out because I'm figuring me out in the process. And then I got married to my
Talk about it.
the previous marriage, and I was in that marriage from 26 to 31. So for that 5 years that we were married, we had 2 children as well, which brought me to my 5. Okay, so now this,
You're starting 5.
yeah, to start with 5, that was my team. Yes, and that man loved all 5 of my children. You couldn't tell or know or see with his interaction with my children that he wasn't their father, because even today they still have a relationship and a bond
I
with
love it.
my previous ex-husband. So that's why I don't want to negate
I love
him
it.
in a situation to say that he's a bad father, because I would never take that away from him. He loved our children like I love
That's
them.
right.
Just couldn't coexist as
That's
as a
right.
unit. With that being said,
And it happened.
yeah,
And I want
and
to be clear on I want to be clear. I'm gonna stop you for a second, Tanja, because I want to be clear, because I'm so glad that you said that, because this is the type of show this is. We share our stories, and to me, when you share your stories and the things that you've gone, if you're sharing the truth, there's no need for bashing. Like, we don't have to bash, even if it was a reason to bash. Because I could be on here, honey, just bashing away. But what is that? What's the point of that?
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
right,
We all could do that. So I'm glad that you said that, because people have to understand, sometimes it does not work. Relationships don't work for whatever reason. And
yeah,
you have children involved, right?
right,
So it doesn't make the woman or the man a bad parent automatically because they're
right.
not such a good spouse. And
That's
I want to make that I want to differentiate between the two, because there are a lot of people out here that are amazing parents and they just can't get the relationship right. This podcast is about that. It's about
right.
promoting healthy relationships, and okay, how can we do things differently so we can have some of these relationships lasting, because everybody got to do their healing, everybody got to go through whatever they go through. So I'm glad that you circle back to say that.
Yes.
What made you take the journey and say, you know what, this is not working? I appreciate the father that you are to all my children. I appreciate the time that we had, but it's time to chuck the deuces. It's time to go.
Okay. Well,
What was
again.
that? Do you
Okay.
remember?
How about it wasn't me? It was him. He
Uh,
decided
Talk about
that,
it.
yes, he decided that the relationship or the marriage wasn't
Mm-hmm.
um being uh being a healthy one, because at that point there was a lot of
Mm-hmm.
arguing amongst us,
Mm-hmm.
and you can only shield your kids but so much, because
Mm-hmm.
you know you're in the same house and your children is there. No matter
Mm-hmm.
how much you try to uh shield your kids, they're going to be affected or not affected. Because when I say not affected, meaning that we could teach our kids
Well, let's
that
talk about one of your kids
are
said, Mama, one of your kids said, you look gorgeous. Mama, don't she? Your mama over here looking good. She looking good.
sometimes we can teach. Thank you, baby. Sometimes we can teach our kids that this is the way to be, like this is normal, and it wasn't normal. It wasn't normal
Yeah.
for the dysfunction that we was
Yeah.
creating in the household. And because he had
That's real.
the foresight to see that we'll be damaging our kids more by staying together,
Mm-hmm.
because we will
That's
argue
real.
and the kids will still be in the other room playing like it's nothing because they became this was normal.
Immune to it. Yeah.
Exactly. Completely
Yeah.
immune.
Yeah.
So the
But
you
that's
know
real, but that's so, it's so powerful and it's so real, and so many people can relate to that because more is caught than taught when it comes to children. And children are very wise. And sometimes we think we're sheltering children. And sometimes we think, oh, well, they don't know really what's going on. And they might not know the magnitude, but they know the routine. And this is how we have to kind of break things when it comes to generations. And so many generational relationships are unhealthy because
right,
if we seen grandmom, if we seen mom, if we seen aunties and uncles have dysfunction in their relationship and it's unhealthy, we
right,
think that that's healthy. So
yeah,
then when you're relationship and maybe same patterns happen that they seen grandmom or mom and dad have, then they
right,
think it's healthy. And that's
right,
how people get in perpetual unhealthy relationships because you don't know the difference. People are not knowing the difference. The divorce rate is 50%. And it's not 50% just because people just giving up. People are wounded. People are in unhealthy relationships, and some unhealthy relationships will work until they don't.
exactly,
So even though it's heartbreaking, right? Even though it's heartbreaking, nobody wants somebody to say, hey, this ain't working, I'm out, I need a divorce. But
right.
sometimes it's like that Gladys Knight and the Pip song. Neither one of us
Neither one of us.
want to be the
Yes,
first to say goodbye,
absolutely.
right?
Right, absolutely. Right,
But
right,
at some point, to save your children, say it. And then when you think about your
right,
journey, you wouldn't even have Jason now if that wasn't said.
right. And absolutely. And of course, when you're on the other side, when you're in it, when you're deep in it, for me, from a woman's
And then, can you
perspective,
me?
huh? Say it again. I didn't hear you. Kendall?
Can you hear me? God. Well, you said he wants divorce, and sometimes it's so
Hold on 1 second. Can you hear me, Kendall? Kendall, can you hear me? Okay. I was just wanting to know whether she can hear me. Okay. Um, so I'm going to say that when you're deep in the situation, I was still trying to hold on to, I was trying to hold on to
if you all can hear me. I'm not sure what happened. Let me see if my guest is still there. This is Remixing Relationships, and I'm all right. This is a great conversation, so I'm not sure what's happening, but this is what happens sometimes when you online and you getting into a heavy conversation. That means somebody is about to be blessed. So, hello, can you? I don't see you. This is all the way live. This hasn't happened before, but we good. Because somebody about to be healed. So we're gonna are you still on?
And even with you, like now I can see you, I can see you on the phone,
Mm-hmm.
but on my computer, you're moving like you're breaking up.
Okay. So if you guys are watching, because this isn't happening on here, that means that this story has to be told 100%. So try to come out.
Okay.
Okay. Because she's right here, and I can see myself. Let's see. I can see myself through. I just looked on there. So you're not on there. So we're gonna try to come back on. Let's see. All right, there you are. I think you are. Let's see.
Okay, the devil is a liar.
Yes. Look at God. I'm trying to tell. I'm trying to tell.
Yeah, the devil is bad. Yes. But I remember what I was saying though, because the devil don't
Thank you, everybody who's watching, and thank you for your patience. What you say, Tonja?
I said the devil
She said the
mad.
devil don't want y'all to hear this.
Yeah. But I was saying to you, when you were in the
All
middle.
right, so we were. All right, I want you to continue your story.
Okay. All right. So what I was saying, well, when we was living out in Vegas, and like I said before, he wanted out of the marriage, and so I was still holding on. I was holding on as a woman. I was going through, with my sickness. I had 5 kids. What made sense to me was I needed to keep this family intact, even in the dysfunction, because the first marriage ended. This is my second marriage, and that's where I was at, and this is what I was feeling. And when we separated, and I decided to move to Georgia because I had a sibling that had lived here, and another one of my siblings that I was close to was transitioning to Georgia. So I decided I had already did the biggest and courageous thing I had ever done in my life, and that was leave Jersey. So I had already faced that fear, and now I decided I was going to go somewhere new where nobody didn't know me and I didn't know them, and be able to have a fresh start. And so me and my children relocated in 2005 to Atlanta, Georgia. And this year in April makes 20 years that we've been here.
Wow.
Yes. Mm, yes. So,
Wow.
yeah. So, with that being said, going through the journey, going through the process of
Wow.
trying to,
So what did that do to, because you already changing, you were doing something bold that you never did. What were you
yeah.
feeling? That when you said, you know what, I'm going to go to Atlanta and I'm going to start when nobody knows me and I know them. How were you able to overcome that fear and see a new life on the horizon, even though you didn't know what to go ahead and say, you know what, I'm just going to start?
For me was like I said, um, I believe even when I made the transition to Georgia, I was still holding on, even from afar. I was still holding on to what it was because we,
Mhm,
because at that point we were separated, but we were still legally married. So because we were still legally married, it was,
mhm.
it anything would be possible. God could have changed us, could have healed some things, But for me, I I already faced my biggest fear. So coming here to Georgia was now like, okay, in my mind, I was feeling like, oh, I'm gonna bounce back. I'm gonna be, I'm gonna get me back. I'm gonna bounce back. But God said no, uh-uh. And He had another plan, and that wasn't the same plan I had. So I was going through the motions, feeling like if it was a pill I could take, if it was a drink I could drink to make all this hurt and all this pain go away, I would have drank it. I would have took the pill, and it didn't work that way because every relationship that I had been in, like I said,
Mhm.
I what everybody else expected from me. But one thing I didn't know was who I was. Who was Tonja? What did I like? What like I didn't know. I had been in a relationship since I was 14, So like other than being a mom, and being in these
Yeah.
relationships, I had no clue. And
And
part of
this
that,
is this is definitely a good message. I'm not sure what's going on with the internet,
the devil. hmm But yeah,
which, like I said, normally this thing is a story that needs to be told
yeah.
because typically with this show it's smooth. So this shows me that, this is an important conversation to have. So thank you everybody for your patience. Not sure what's going on with the internet. We're gonna have Tonja back for sure. To make sure you heard everything that she is saying. That's one thing we don't have control over. That's why I said this has never happened on Remixing Relationships. That's why I know. Like she said, the devil mad.
He mad.
So
hmm
tell me, so what was that when you got a divorce and you're in Atlanta? What was that like for you? Because I know you were an active part in your life, as a father. What was that like? Like, it's time to date again.
Okay, well, this I must be further ahead because again, their journey ain't as quick as
In
you
that.
think it is. And even at that point, for me being in a new state and around early
Can you
2000,
hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear. I can.
All right. Can you hear me,
Okay,
Tonja?
I can. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes. I can hear you.
Or what's happening with the internet? I don't want to stop it because I'm not I'm not sure what's going on. Can you hear me, Tonja?
I can hear you. It's just that when you was asking me the question, it was breaking up.
Can
So I
you
was
hear
trying to.
me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me?
I was told that your internet
All
is
right.
breaking up and you're freezing.
Yes, I am hearing that. And I'm hearing that. And I said, this is never happens with the show. Well, here you go. Yes. So what I'm gonna do, and this never happens. So what I'm going to do, and you can continue to talk, and I'm gonna come back in. I'm not sure. Like I said, this hasn't happened with this. So I want you to share your story. I want you to talk to the audience.
Okay.
And I'm gonna come out, but you're still gonna be on, and I want you to tell them what gave you the courage to start dating again.
Okay. So I'm gonna keep you on the phone, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and in case I need to hear your full questions, I can hear it. Okay. So I was saying to you that it didn't happen, you know, like I thought and I desired it to happen quick so I could get over the hurt. It didn't work that way. So in early 2000, internet dating was out. And so I was on the internet. So so playing around on the internet, I was kind of meeting people. But let me tell you something about when you have your own plans, God or laugh at you in your face. So everybody that was coming in my direction, God knew I was not going to like them at all. So that was what was happening. When I, like how they say you had to kiss a lot of frogs. I wasn't kissing the frogs, but I had a lot of frogs that was out there that was trying to leap off the little lily pad. And I was like, no, 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 you can stay in the pond. But yes, so the process was long, but it was long because I had to heal. So as time went on, I was open to be able to date, but that was the problem I was having. I thought I was ready, but God knew better. I wasn't. So
Mm-hmm.
so with that being said, you know, at some point I started getting stronger, and I, the crying had stopped, and the anger that I was feeling had started to subside because I was going through the motions. And when I say going through the motions, my anger and my hurt was intertwined. Now they two separate, but for me, they were one. And I realized now on the other side that people could not decipher one emotion from the other because I was given the same thing. So where people may not care that you're mad, they may care that you're hurt. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get that they cared because everything looked like I was mad when I was just hurt.
Mm.
And I was
Mm.
mad. So they was, it was, yeah, it was rough. So when I started to heal, I became less hurt, less mad. I started going out, going outside, and in that I was finding some joy in things that I like. I love music. I love dancing. So I was going out twice a week. I was a single Black woman in Atlanta. I wasn't going out looking for nobody. That's the difference. I was just enjoying me, you know, without the pressure of somebody telling me what I can and cannot do,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And so I was going out to karaoke and line dancing twice a week, and I was enjoying life. And in the midst of me enjoying life, my king came.
Come on. Come on. Talk about that. So let's talk about Mr. Jason. All right. So let's be clear. And I know, and I apologize. I'm gonna see if Tonja's available next week to make sure y'all heard everything, because I want you to hear hers. And I don't have no control over the internet. It says the bars are there. So my apologies for that. I'm not sure what's happening, but definitely we'll talk to try to have her next week. But all right, so when you went to Atlanta and somebody says, hey, I want a divorce, your world as you know it is not going to no longer be. So now you're trying to be like, okay, is it me? Is it the disease? Is it because I changed? Is it because I this? And you start internalizing someone else's decision, even though that's the best decision and that's the blessing, because you would had not had met your king and your forever person if your ex-husband didn't decide to make that decision. That was like a pivotal moment where he said, you know what, this is no longer working. So when something seems less than a blessing, it ends up being one of the biggest blessings in your life. So how long of the time span when you went to Atlanta? And check it out, you chose Atlanta, and that's where your forever man was. Ain't that something? Had you said somewhere else? Yes, come on.
Yes.
Come on, God.
And let me add this in, mind you. Even with the healing process of everything, me and my ex did learn how to co-parent and become family. Okay, like he became one of my best friends. Mm-hmm. The friendship actually came after the marriage.
Yeah. You know, I believe it.
Oh yeah. So even though he remarried, so me, my husband, my forever king, and his wife, we have became family, and yes, but that was all part of the process of healing. So even when I was in the midst and I didn't see the light, and I was trying to fight the process of what everything was going on, I do know that that was the best decision that was made back then, but I couldn't understand it then.
And you weren't supposed to.
Right. I had to go through the motions. I had to go. I had to heal. Tonja had to heal from things. And with that being said, you know, I do realize now that how important friendship is in a marriage.
Yeah.
And I also realized that even having your person, you know, that the compatibility, meaning that y'all have to want and desire some of the same things, you know. You know what I mean? You can't be a alpha man that wants a submissive woman and you got an alpha woman. That's not going to work.
No. You know? Yeah.
So with that being said, you know, that we was able to get past that, and now I'm here. So now I'm here, and I was going out. I was out going out with one of my girlfriends, and that actually happened to be on Cinco de Mayo. So
okay, Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah. So we went out, and here in Atlanta, you know, shout out to Bigelow's. You know, it's a Black-owned establishment that is family ran, and they call like the hole in the wall. For us folks, we know that it was like washers.
Not washers, not washers. Shout out to Pleasantville, New Jersey, and washers getting them chicken gizzards and fries. Come on now, hot sauce and ketchup. Come on. Come on, walking around. We're the only ones that walk around with the cart and eating the food, walking around the street. Come on now.
They had to understand it. So yes, so we wound up, me and one of my girlfriends, close girlfriends, wound up going out this night, and because we was regulars, when he came through the door with one of his guy friends, we knew that they were. If we was men, we would be like fresh meat.
Fresh meat, right? You knew.
Yes, so we had a little thing between me and my friend. We was like, oh, look at here, bacon and ham. And and my man, I ain't know he was gonna be my man, but maybe I did. I don't know, but yeah. So that night, we danced. You know, shout out to the Jones Girls. So that's like our song. That's the story of our life. The Jones Girls have a song called "A Dance That Turned Into Romance," and that's
Oh, that's my song. That's my
that's
song.
yes, that's our
Oh,
story.
so they playing music like that there?
Oh yeah, girl, yes.
Oh, it's a
But yeah,
grown place.
but that was me and Jason's story. My king came in and we took it to the dance floor that night, and we exchanged phone numbers that night, and like literally we never stopped talking since that night.
Wow. So how
Yes.
long of a time span was that when you left Vegas with your children,
Mm-hmm.
and
That
for
was
a pending
2005,
divorce?
right?
And then what year did you meet Jason?
Okay, so we left Vegas in 2005, arrived in Georgia, got divorced in 2006, and I didn't cross paths with my king until 2014. That long.
Oh, wow. So you were out there. So it was the right timing.
Oh, absolutely,
It was the
because
right timing.
absolutely, and I believe in my heart for the both of us, because had I met him anytime in that gap, we wouldn't have never worked because he was outside. Yeah, I'm.
Mhm.
Our paths.
Outside.
Yeah, our paths crossed right when you know he was slowing up. So he could handle a relationship.
Right. So let's
Mm-hmm.
all right. So being divorced multiple times, as we talked about that, right? Having your children, dealing with the things that you're dealing with your health, and
Yes.
making sure your children are good, making sure your mental health is good, making sure you're strong enough and you're going through your healing process. When you met him, did you think like, yeah, I'm not trying to get into another relationship, or were you nervous based off of what you've been through? And then what was it about him that made you see a future with him?
Okay. So, um, when I when I saw him, I was attracted to him. So let's start that. Okay. So
Mhm.
talking to
Let's
him,
start there.
yes. So talking with Jason, I found we had a lot of things in common, and
Mhm.
I had been out of my situation for a long period of time. He was out of his. He had been married prior to our marriage now, and he had been in that marriage for over 20 years. So he was
Mhm.
just a couple years out,
Mhm.
of his situation. So where I at this point I know what I want. I
Mhm.
felt like I knew what I was looking for. Um and he was just open. He was open.
Yeah.
He wasn't rushing to settle down into nothing. So, and he had been honest from the very beginning.
Yeah.
So when we met, he explained his situation, and I wasn't one that could be judgmental or opinionated, because remember when I came to Georgia in 2005, and I was feeling like somehow, some way, I wanted this hurt to go away, and I wouldn't mind meeting somebody to help me do that, and it didn't
Mhm.
work out that way. I still was legally on paper married,
Got it. Yeah.
so so same as life with Jason. When
Got
we
it.
met, he was separated, but
Yeah.
legally still on paper, he was
Yeah.
still married,
Yeah.
and they were two separate households. So I knew it was the truth. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yes. So with that being said, he explained to me because he had a son, and God rest his soul, because he had lost his only child
Mm,
in 2018.
I'm
Uh,
sorry.
yes. So at the time, his son was in college, and he explained to me that he wasn't he in his mind he wasn't thinking about like remarrying or anything like that. So the pressure wasn't on. So as far as for him to file for divorce or anything like that, and that after his son graduated from college, that would have been something that he would, consider
Yeah.
if was something, if he was in something serious.
Yeah.
So all this was explained to me, so I knew from the very beginning.
I
And
like it. He was
right,
upfront. He was upfront with it. He was
very,
telling,
very much
but that's
so.
grown. That's grown.
Right,
Be upfront with it. Tell me what I'm getting into. Tell me what it is. And then
right.
that way
So
I can respect that. I respect
right,
that.
right. But this Jersey girl right here was on a different kind of time. So I was like, listen, where I'm from, guys go after what they want. You keep playing around and you're gonna lose me, because you
That
better get me while it's hot type stuff, right?
that part.
He was
That
like,
Jersey flag.
and him being from Southside Chicago was like, pump your brakes. So, with that being said, I learned a lot from this man. And
Mm-hmm.
what I had told myself during my healing process was, the next relationship I be in, get myself into, I want that person to be my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
But what I didn't realize was how to achieve that. He taught me that. He helped me with that process that I was trying to fight early on. I was just
We
ready.
definitely having a part two. We're definitely having a part two because there's a lot. And we'll talk to see if you're available. If she's available, I don't want to put you on the spot. But next week, okay, so next week we're gonna have a part two with Tonja because we had a little hiccup, so that took like a little 5-10 minutes of that time. But I want to talk about so many different things with you because I want you to paint the picture on what your healing process looked like. Tanja got that Jersey swag, like, huh? You slow on your feet, you gonna miss out on something sweet. How about that? But I want to hear about the healing process, and I want to hear about what Jason taught you, because you said with that friendship, and I think that that's so very important, because you said something else too with your ex-husband. You said we became friends after
Right.
the marriage,
After
right?
the
After the divorce. But
right.
with Jason, it seems like it was friendship right there. And then all of the lessons that you've learned. So I definitely want to talk about that, and really people, because I want people to see the healing process.
Right.
And you said he taught you.
Yeah.
Let's touch a little bit on that, and then we'll, pick up for part two next week.
Not a problem. So when I said he taught me, was because I'm so used to going after what I want, and or things just falling into place. Um, he was just, oh, every chance he got, he was expressing, we just friends. And at first I was offended, because for me, coming from like the internet dating world,
Where
and
they on it, they knowing what they want. They trying to wipe you up in 2.2 seconds.
that part, and also I realized too, being in Atlanta, being single, and just kind of run into different situations. They wanted the they use the word friend loosely, but in
Mm-hmm.
that friendship, they want all the benefits of being in a
Mm-hmm.
relationship. And
Mm-hmm.
that was why the word friendship wound up turning to being taboo for me.
Mm-hmm. Got
So
it.
I was not like playing like friend. Okay, but you trying to play house. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Type situation. So, but Jason was like, we're friends, and we talked as friends. We did things. You know what I mean? And even though we were still building, but the foundation, the fundamental foundation was that friendship.
I love
Was
it.
to get to know each other. We're, our we're the core. Like, who raised you? You know
Right.
what
Right.
I'm
No,
saying?
that's real.
Right. You know what I mean? And things to that effect. So, that's what we built on. And at that point, even though I was still able to maintain my friendships with my girlfriends, you know, I could be content in doing things with him or
Yeah.
nothing with him. And that's how I knew that I had
That he
a
was.
real friend.
Yes, I remember just on social media when y'all met, when you started just posting him, and I was like, "Okay, Tonja," and then you post him again. Then y'all put y'all here, y'all there, y'all everywhere, and then when y'all got
Plane,
engaged,
trains, and automobiles.
yes, exactly. Then when y'all got married, how long has it been since y'all been married now?
This year be 3 years in October.
That
We'll
went
be
fast.
yes, and
So
so
what, and I'm gonna leave people with so we can really talk about this in part
okay.
two and then definitely come back. So what was it? What was that time like when he was like on the Brown Sugar the movie? I don't want to be your friend no more.
Listen, that's the funny part, right? Because when you're grown, especially dating in your 40s, because at that point, when we met, I was 40, so it was definitely
Mhm.
different from my teen years and my early 20s for sure.
Mhm.
So, and it's not like grade school when they can send you a little paper letter like, do we go together, yes or no? So, and a lot of people like, you
So
had
yes
to,
or no? Maybe
yeah,
so.
yeah, that part, right. So it was funny because in 2014, the year that we met, and we were spending a lot of time together. We was doing a lot of things together. And then one day I just heard him on the phone, like, yeah, I'm going with my lady. And I remember turning my head like, I'm his lady. In my mind, I've been his lady, and he knew
Right.
it too. You know what I mean? But for me, that solidified that, that him and I was definitely without a shout out on the same page, and we're going in the same
Yeah.
direction. You know what I mean?
How
But
long was that? Like how long was that when you heard him say that and then when y'all kind of
okay, yes. So we met in May. So when I
mhm.
heard him say that, we was getting ready to go to my sister's house for Thanksgiving. So it was
Who,
November.
Tony? Who,
No,
Tony?
my older sister
Oh,
Donna.
your
We was
older sister.
go to
Okay.
Donna's house, and then we had left there and went to my sister Stephanie's house where Tony
Mhm.
was over there. But yeah, so at that point, he got a chance to meet like the
So that was
family.
like just a couple months.
Yeah, well, it was more than a couple. That was several. Because we want to say April. Oh no, we would say May. So June, July, August, September, October. So about 5 months.
Okay.
So in that 5 months, we were, you know, everywhere. You know
And
what I'm
got
saying?
to meet
Doing
everybody.
everything. But yeah, it was going to that dinner when I heard him for the first time for myself
Yeah.
officially call me his lady.
Cause
You
he
know what I mean?
didn't say it to you. Y'all didn't have a conversation about it. That grown it
No,
just kind of transitioned into that.
right, because as
Yeah.
grown folks, we was dating and we was doing relationship things.
And spending all your time together.
Exactly. Like he ain't had no time. You know what I'm saying? To be out with
To be
nobody else.
rationing out to somebody else.
Okay. No. It was he had some few I called them crumbs. He had a few
Right.
crumbs that was still trying to
Right.
hold on or
Come
like call
on.
see what's up. Yeah, but
Oh, so
I was like,
let me send a message to the crumbs. No.
yes, I know
So it's a
I
lot of
know he's watching and laughing right now. Okay,
what you say?
my husband is laughing and what I know he's watching and laughing right now because he know about me with the crumbs. The
Be,
crumbs.
the crumbs. So let's define the crumbs. The crumbs are that the residue of the people you were dating before you
Right.
found that real one. And they just
Right.
kind of fell off by the wayside and they still trying to hold on. There's still some residue left. There's some crumbs left. But
Right.
it was
Right.
less and less and less. They like far in the distance. And here you
Right.
come.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
then, and they
And
just
I
fall off. The
right,
crumbs
and I was
fall off.
sure that it was nothing, no residue or nothing was around where I was standing
Yeah.
in my space.
Yeah.
But yeah, for all of those
Cream rises to the top.
always. So needless to say, yes, we our bond just got stronger. You know what I mean?
I love it.
Sure.
But I think it's so important to really go through that journey. And next week we're going to talk about what that healing process looks like because somebody out there right now, whether they decided to get a divorce or their spouse says, you know what, this relationship is not working anymore. We're going to end things, right? And a lot of people think that that's the end, especially when you get in your 40s and 50s and even 60s, when you have a long-term relationship or you have kids, or now we're going into the era you have grandkids, and people think that that's the end of the road because hurt will make you feel like I'm not doing this no more.
Right.
Forget love. Love is for suckers. We ain't doing that. You know what I
Right.
mean?
And
And
they build walls. But one
right,
thing about
build
walls,
walls.
while you not trying to prevent things coming in, you're not letting things out either. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So the wall works both ways. So
Exactly.
and you have to be
Exactly.
careful with that because
Absolutely.
and I just want to add one other key thing too. You could be your authentic self all day, every day, but understand that you have a value inside yourself and a gift that even though you may have had past hurts and past situations,
Talk about
but
it.
in new situations, you're somebody different. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You constantly evolving, you growing, you healing. You're not the same person, and you're not going to get the same person. You know what I'm saying?
That
So
part.
even though, you know what I'm saying, I had a past, Jason had a past, but what I had in my husband, them other women didn't experience that man. And what he has in me, no man has experienced that with me.
Talk about it. That's some real talk. That's real talk because certain people can bring out certain things and the experiences that you have and that bond and that connection. That's when you know it's your person. When
Yes.
you are a different person with them, like nobody else can say, "Oh yeah, I know how Tonja what." No, you don't. You don't know
Right.
her right now. Or yeah,
Right.
Jason
Right.
did. No, Jason, no, he didn't. And I think that that's beautiful, and that's really. I hope y'all are listening to that because that's powerful. So Tonja talked about the initial heartbreak of her family ending, right? And wondering if she's making the right decision by moving to a different state away from their father. The marriage is no longer working. This is her second marriage at this point. So she's dealing with all of these things. And we're going to talk next week about her autoimmune disease as well and how that affects you in relationships, right? And even starting to date again. Because if you listen from the beginning, if you were here, she was like, what is this like? Because in this marriage, this past marriage, this is when I developed my disease. So he knows I don't have to explain anything. And a lot of people feel that way. I mean, I feel that I suffer from alopecia. And I was like, oh God, how am I going to ever get into it? How? So I totally get it. And I'm a cancer survivor too. And then
Yes.
just going into another relationship with like, how do I? So I totally
Right.
understand what you're saying, especially when you start getting older, when you don't have
Yes.
to explain certain things to the old people because they already know they've been there, they witnessed it. And
Right.
now when you get into a new relationship, you got to explain certain things and you got to wonder. And it's very challenging and people don't understand what
And
some
everybody's
women
not
go
built
through and
right.
men
And
as
everybody's
well.
not built to handle
Everybody, that part. That part. So how do you navigate that? So we're going to talk about that next week. We're also going to talk about the healing journeys, the steps that Tonja has taken, whether it's therapy. We're going to find out spiritual growth. We're going to talk about if she had bitterness towards love. We're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about, as she talked about Jason and finding love again. And when you find love again, it's not perfect in the beginning. You have to work towards that too. So we're going to find out how they're working at their marriage, because this is the last marriage, right? So we're going to find out what
that part right
right,
there.
right,
And let's make very clear. Every day is a work. Like people like, oh, I'm a work in progress. So is your relationship. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, when I say relationship of all sorts, whether it's your intimate relationship with your friends, relationship with your children, work has to be done. And that is a daily work. You don't just get into it and then, everything, because some days, it ain't all good. You know what I mean? But when you have that commitment and you and that's your person, you're gonna work through whatever it is together.
That's right. And that's why, and this is why the reason why I do this show, because when it's, I'm talking about remixing relationships and doing things differently, and having healthy relationships. Let me be clear, healthy relationships doesn't mean that it's a perfect relationship, but how are you navigating? How are you working through? What does your resolve game look like? How do you resolve an argument? How do you agree to disagree? How do you, ignore somebody and walk past the kitchen for them for a week? Or do you sit there and handle it like an adult? So that's the thing that we have to remix when I'm talking about remixing relationships and promoting healthy relationships, learning to do things differently. And that's what it's about. Ain't no perfect relationships here. So we're going to be talking about that. And we're also going to talk about lessons. And, we're going to share some more stories. So Tonja, what you think about today's episode and then some of the things that you shared?
I think it's awesome. I thought I was going to be really scared to death.
How do you think that?
But I'm good.
All right. So part one, guys, if you're just tuning in, this is part one with Tonja Williams. We're talking about remixing Heartbreak and having the courage, right, to not only love again, but marry again. And then next week, it's going to be a totally different, in the beginning of the show, we're going to talk about the things that I just said we're going to talk about in the beginning. And then we're going to talk about, well, I'll save it for y'all, but y'all definitely going to want to come back. What do you want to leave the audience with today about having the courage to love yourself first and then open yourself up to true love after divorce and heartbreak and hurt?
The key thing I want to leave is to open yourself up to love somebody else. You have to first love yourself, because you're not going to be good to anybody else until you find how to genuinely love yourself. And
absolutely.
Yeah. So once you get to that point where you genuinely love yourself, you can be open to loving someone else, because with loving yourself, you have a clearer perspective of what you deserve, what you need.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll be able to navigate through that. And definitely right along with loving yourself is you have to stay in prayer, because God knows He has been my rock, what I had to stand on through a lot of dark nights, where in the midnight hour, they say in the midnight hour, literally I had paved the floor talking to God, like literally. They say prayers and conversation. I had that. Talking to God, what is it you want from me? Why am I going through this? What is my lesson? You know what I mean? I had to, you're gonna get real with God and it just get real, and sometimes
That's right.
it hurts, and sometimes it hurts and it gets bad before it gets good, but it's part of the process.
It's part of the process. Tonja, what do you love about yourself?
With the help of my children and having a God sent husband, what I've learned to love about myself most is learning that I persevered. You know, you sometimes you don't realize how strong you are,
Mm-hmm.
you know, till you have to be strong, or till
Yeah.
you see how far
Yeah.
to see the things that you overcome. So if I had to use a word, is perseverance. Me being true to myself, knowing that I I could be fearless, and knowing I could stand in my truth, not caring who's embarrassed by my truth, or
Yeah.
who or who can get offended by it. But
Yeah.
yes, that's what I'm loving about myself.
And guys, I see all of your comments. You have so much support on here. So inspiring. Your son saying, "Tell it, mama, your people are here supporting you." Your son said, "I'm here, Umi, shine your light." And I think it's beautiful, for the first time, publicly wanting to share your story and your journey, and to have the support that you have.
Yeah.
It means a lot. So when you think about the journey that you took with your 5 children, after the divorce, and to change cities, and for your children to be young then,
Yes.
and
They
now
all grown now.
all grown, your son
Yeah.
writing that amazing song about you,
Yes.
your son encouraging you
Yes.
to share your story. Do you feel like you made the right decision?
Absolutely. And sometimes when you're in the midst of your storm, you question a lot of things, and you have a lot of doubt, and and walking with regret. But when you go through and you come out on the other side, you do realize that it was a purpose
Mm-hmm.
for it all, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
never thought I could love again. I never thought I could have somebody that genuinely loved me with all my faults and flaws, could love
Mm-hmm.
me unconditionally. But God promises, He has promises, and He promised He would give you double for your troubles. And I shared, you know, God knew what I needed, and He sent me my person.
Yes. And
And
I
it's like,
love it.
hey, it wasn't just a month later. It wasn't 2 or 3 years later.
Talk about it.
We want that microwave stuff, because believe me, I wanted it too. I,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted it instantaneously. I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
be get over the hurt and move on,
Yeah.
but it happened that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you got to God will make you deal with you even if you don't want to.
Oh, God gonna put you in front of your face.
Mirror, put
He's
that
gonna
mirror.
put you in front of your face. The last question I have, and guys, this is part one, and you definitely want to come back for part two. We're gonna even dive deeper. We've only touched the surface with Tonja. And last question that I have is, what does Jason love about you?
Oh, that's that. You know what? Leave it to me and my cockiness, everything. But no, yeah. As he's, I think it's my strength to
Mm-hmm.
that. I try to make it happen, even when the struggle get real. And you know what I'm saying? He know that he got somebody that he going that's a rider. Not a
Yeah.
toes down, and he know that he can always count on and depend on. So I believe that could be one of them. But me, I'm gonna give you the opportunity to ask him that question yourself, because nobody else can answer
Right,
that better
because
for yourself.
Jason might be on next week, y'all. He might be on for part two. He might be on part of the show. You ain't heard it from me, but he might be on.
so you definitely want to come back next week. Tanja, how
Yeah.
can everybody hear the song that your son wrote? Tell them where they can go to listen
Okay.
to this song, and give your social media handles if you want some more followers and connections.
Okay.
And then
Yes.
also she'll be back here next week.
Okay. Well, yes, my son's music can be heard on all platforms, but he is Blessed Montana, and he is, especially on Spotify. The song is called Mama. He's on YouTube as well. And I have a page that I actually promote. I post memes. I'm queen of memes, and whether they are something that memes that are relatable to me, it might be something that you need to hear. But my queen of memes pages, Miss J Cool at on Instagram, and Queen of Memes on Facebook. But I'm also on Facebook as well as Tonja Lynette. Yes, but
I
yes.
love it. Jason
For
said, "Great job, ladies."
thank you, that's us back.
So I'm sure. I
Yes.
love it. That's
Well, I
Bay. I
thank
see you doing this,
thank
saying
you.
that on
I
social
can't I
media.
can't thank you enough, Queen, for allowing me to be able to tell my story and be on your platform. And I think it's an awesome thing that you're doing.
Oh, I appreciate it, Tanja, and I can't wait to have you back. You did an amazing job. It's me, so I was like, she's not gonna be nervous. It's me. She gonna be. I
Yeah.
told you it's gonna be like you and I talking. So I
I,
wasn't concerned. You came on. The audio was right. You look beautiful.
thank
You came ready to roll and to share. And it's just, I told you, it's a conversation with your girl. That's it.
and I love my homegirls.
Everybody, I'm so excited that you decided to spend these moments with us. Sorry for the hiccup a little earlier. So I wanted to make sure I extended the time with her, and we're going to give her a part 2 as well. As you know, we don't have no control over that internets. So if you're watching this and it's messing up, just fast forward, because we find our stride and we continue the
Yes.
conversation. That's how we do. This is my Jersey. We don't give up easily. We keep it
No,
pushing
not.
in the eyes of adversity. And she said, the devil, she said, he don't want y'all to hear, because it's about healing. It's about growth. It's about trusting God. And sometimes there's interference when it comes to that. But you got to continue to keep talking and using your voice and sharing your story, because somebody needs to hear it. All right, y'all. Thank you for joining today as we explored new ways to remix and strengthen your relationships. Past heartbreak, it doesn't matter how many times you've been married or divorced, you can still find the lesson and blessing, and you can still find love again. Remember, healthy connections are within your reach, and together we will create the love and life you deserve. It's not always easy, y'all. Y'all got to do the work. If you've seen unhealthy relationships your whole life, and if you were in them, you think that they're normal, but they're not. So it's about learning to do things differently. I am Kendall Anish, your fave life coach, with a reminder: the power to transform is in your hands, y'all. So you got to do your work. You got to be a part of your rescue. Thank you for joining me. Your time is valuable. I'm glad you spent it here with me. Remember, it's never too late to remix your life. It's never too late to remix your love at any stage, age, or phase. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and please share this out. These are the kind of conversations that have to go viral. We got a lot of foolishness, but if it's about growth and strengthening the Black community and our relationships and our families, then you need to be tuned in here. So share this to someone who you feel will be blessed by it, if it blessed you. All right, Tonja.
All right,
Thank
my Jersey
you.
girl. Mwah, thank you.
Thank y'all for watching, and thank y'all for supporting. And to Tanja's kids, y'all should be proud. Jason, you should be proud, because she's on here doing her thing. This is only the beginning. I got one more comment. Let's
Like,
see.
share. Like,
So even if
share.
I didn't read your comments, they were going up. It's the Black Love for me, the Williams. All right now. All right. I'll see you next week. We'll talk, and it'll be here
Okay.
next week, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday, right here. You're watching Remixing Relationships. God bless you. See you later, girl.
All right.